Leave it to Prince William and Kate Middleton to make the red carpet a royal affair. The future monarchs didn't hold back the glam for their BAFTAs debut as the Prince and Princess of Wales on Sunday.
Prince Harry was once a beloved royal and a key figure at high-profile events like the BAFTAs. But now, shocking reports suggest that he's been banned from attending the 2025 BAFTA Awards, and the decision allegedly came straight from his own brother, Prince William. For years, their relationship has been under strain, but this latest move takes things to another level. Insiders claim Harry didn't take the news well. So what really led to this royal fallout? And what does it mean for the future of the monarchy? Join us as we unpack the full story behind this royal drama, the royal rift that shook the palace. Before Prince Harry ever thought about showing up to the 2025 BAFTA Awards,
Dressed to kill or fashion flop, the stars came out for the 2025 BAFTAs, and it's fair to say that some looked better than others.
something much deeper was already playing out behind the palace gates. You see, the British royal family has seen its fair share of drama. But when it comes to Prince William and Prince Harry, two brothers raised in the spotlight, bound by tragedy, what we are witnessing now is something entirely different. Their bond once gave hope to millions. But today, that bond is broken. And it all came to a head with a moment no one saw coming. Harry being shut out from one of the UK's most glamorous nights. Not by the public, not by security, but by his own brother. So to understand why this moment matters, we have to go back. Back to where this royal rift began. Because what started as brotherhood has become one of the most personal feuds in modern monarchy. So stay with us, because what we are about to reveal will shock you. Prince William was born in 1982.
Good evening. This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting. It's a prince, a 7-pound, 1.5-ounce boy, born late today to Prince Charles and the Princess of Wales, Lady Diana. The child becomes the most truly English heir to the British monarchy in more than 400 years.
And, from birth, was already the heir. Prince Harry, on the other hand, was born 2 years later in 1984 and was considered the spare to the throne. Their roles didn't change anything because from the start, they were seen as a team. After their mother, Princess Diana, died in a tragic accident, they walked side by side behind her casket. Just boys then, heartbroken yet composed. That moment stayed in the minds of people everywhere. They grew up in a world full of rules and tradition. Despite that, they were modern kids, playful and close. William was calm and serious. Harry was lively and a bit wild. They were different in many ways, yet they always had each other. For a time, that was enough. Then things began to change. Slowly at first. Then all at once. In 2020, Harry and his wife Meghan made a bold choice to step back from royal duties. They moved to California, started their own foundation, told their own story. At first, many hoped it would be temporary. But then came the Oprah interview, the Netflix docuseries, the book Spare. Each moment seemed to drive the brothers further apart. Prince William stayed silent. But behind the scenes, insiders say he was hurt deeply. To him, Harry had crossed a line, multiple times. The line between family and institution, between private and public. But all of that was still hidden until something recently that shocked everyone. Stay tuned. The BAFTA saga. In early 2025, Prince Harry reportedly reached out to the British Academy of Film and Television Arts. Quietly. No big announcement. No Netflix crew. He wasn't looking to make headlines. Just a quiet appearance. A small way to reconnect. He has supported creative talent before. He believed in the power of storytelling. And maybe, just maybe, it was a small step toward home. But instead of a yes like many expected, he got nothing. No invite, no welcome, no explanation. And here's the part that stunned everyone. According to palace insiders, the decision came straight from the top. Prince William, the president of BAFTA, the man who once called Harry his best friend, had allegedly banned Harry from attending the event he wanted to go to desperately. Now, here's the twist. Although William reportedly banned Harry from attending the event, it's said that William and Kate chose not to go either. Now, royal watchers are asking, why stop someone who wanted to attend when you had no plans to go yourself? To some fans, the answer is simple. They never reconciled. The press calls it a royal feud. But when you look closer, it feels like something even more painful. Two brothers who once shared everything, now living completely separate lives. William is focused on his future as king.
After his father, Prince Charles, Prince William is second in the line of succession to the British throne. But what does their dispute mean for William's future as king? And will they make up in time for Harry to write about it in his memoir?
Harry is building a new life across the ocean. So, what does this BAFTA snub really mean? For Harry, it may have been a quiet opportunity to show support for the arts and gently remind the public that he's more than just the tabloid headlines. For William, it might have been about drawing a firm line, asserting control, and sending a message as he steps further into his future role as king. However, as of now, there's no sign of reconciliation, no olive branches, no late-night phone calls. Just silence. And maybe that's what hurts the most. Not the headlines, not the book deals, but the silence between two brothers who once shared everything. But that wasn't all. When neither brother said anything about the BAFTA saga, it left fans frustrated. And soon, the debates began. Some supported William's decision, even without knowing the full reason behind it, believing he was simply protecting the dignity of the event. They argued that Harry's presence could have shifted the focus away from the ceremony and onto royal drama. Others sided with Harry, seeing the reported ban as unnecessary and deeply hurtful, a rejection that only widened the already growing rift between the two. In the end, the silence spoke louder than any official statement ever could. Then, out of the blue, just when no one was expecting anything from the brothers, Prince William decided it was time to speak up. He broke the silence and revealed why he had banned his brother from the BAFTAs. So, what did he say? Let's find out. Prince William and Harry's response to the BAFTA saga. Like I said earlier, when William shut the door on his brother in 2025, people were looking for an explanation. He was silent, but then he decided to speak out. The first thing William made the world know was that this wasn't about pettiness. It wasn't about grudges or headlines. It was about duty. He explained that although he has a family, duty comes first. So when he shut the door on Harry, he was acting out of responsibility. A responsibility he has carried since 2010 as president of BAFTA. William explained that his decision to block Harry's attendance was based on concerns that his presence might overshadow the ceremony and attract unnecessary media attention. In fact, those close to the palace say it was one of the most difficult choices William has faced. But in William's view, the BAFTAs should remain focused on the art of film, not personal family issues. And given Harry's recent controversies and public statements, there was a real fear that his attendance could shift attention away from the nominees. To many, it may have seemed like another painful chapter in a fractured family. But beneath the headlines was a deeper truth. This was about the future, about protecting something larger than personal bonds. William knew what the evening was meant to be, a celebration of creators, storytellers, and behind-the-scenes talent. He also knew what it could become, a spectacle, a moment about Meghan's outfit, the brothers' interactions, or strained body language, rather than the work being honored. After years of public tension and revelations, Prince William has learned that even silence can be twisted. So this time, he chose clarity. He made a firm decision to protect the space, not to punish, but to preserve. Observers noted that William's concern wasn't personal, it was practical. He didn't want the red carpet to become a stage for past tensions. His focus was on ensuring the spotlight remained on the nominees, not on family dynamics. So, this wasn't about erasing Harry. It was about maintaining focus, upholding a standard, and quietly reinforcing the image the monarchy is working to preserve. Because William isn't just a brother anymore, he's a bridge between the Queen's legacy and his future role as king. Every decision he makes carries weight. In that world, protecting space isn't petty. It's survival. Some sources say William consulted senior aides before making the call. It was strategic, not emotional. He feared headlines would shift away from the awards and back to royal speculation. So, he said no. The event unfolded smoothly. Celebrities arrived. Awards were given. For most viewers, it was another polished British evening, but behind that polish was a prince learning to lead, measured, deliberate, and conscious of what the moment required. A palace insider described the decision as a measured and calculated one. Another set of people say that the move wasn't intended to exclude Harry, but to safeguard the institution and the fragile balance within the family. And sometimes, lines are drawn not through confrontation, but through quiet absence. There were no screaming headlines, just a subtle message, carefully delivered. In the modern monarchy, appearances matter. Every move is curated. Every silence is strategic.
The Queen has said she supports Prince Harry and his wife Meghan's decision to step back from royal duties and pursue a more independent life.
Those who know William say this is who he's becoming: thoughtful, firm, and focused on the long game. He's not seeking attention or applause. He's thinking about what comes next. Because when you're next in line, even a guest list becomes a symbol. And sometimes protecting the crown means keeping the door closed, if only for one night. But while William was trying to keep that door firmly shut, Harry made a move that changed everything. His response shook the narrative and caught everyone off guard. Keep watching, because what Harry did next might just surprise you. Behind the scenes, Prince Harry's reaction to the BAFTA snub was, according to those close to him, full of emotion. And honestly, who could blame him? After years of trying to rebuild his image and find a new path, this wasn't just about missing an event. It felt personal. It hurt. This wasn't just about not being invited. It was about being shut out by his own brother in his own country, with the whole world watching. Now, if that sounds harsh or hard to believe, you probably don't spend much time online. And if that's true, good for you. But for Harry, this wasn't just another story in the news. It was something much deeper. According to those close to the Sussex circle, Harry was left feeling angry, embarrassed, and more than anything, deeply alone. After years of criticism, constant media attacks, and being picked apart by both press and public, he saw the BAFTA event as something different. A quiet reset, a moment of calm. It was a chance to show up, not as a headline, but as a supporter, as a brother, maybe even in a small way, as someone trying to build a bridge. He believed it could be a step toward healing. No speeches, no drama, just presence. But instead of a quiet return, he was met with a cold, calculated rejection. And the worst part was that this rejection did not come from the king, as many would expect, but it came directly from William. Harry felt caught off guard. He believed he was making a peaceful gesture, offering a chance to reconnect. But what he got in return felt more like rejection. The message, to him, was clear. He wasn't welcome. Not at the event. Not that night. And maybe not ever again. It shook Prince Harry deeply. This didn't feel like a simple decision by event organizers. It felt symbolic. A reminder that no matter how many good causes he supports, how many partnerships he builds, or how many speeches he gives, parts of the royal system, including his own brother, still see him as a problem, a risk, an outsider. And here comes the shocker. According to a friend, Harry saw this as more than just being left off a guest list. In his view, it felt like William was using his royal position to keep him out, not just of the BAFTAs, but out of Britain altogether. To him, this wasn't just exclusion. It felt like exile, and not by the public or the press, but by his own brother. That kind of pain, a friend explained, cuts far deeper than any headline ever could. Prince Harry has often been accused of chasing attention or turning private matters into public drama. But this time, the friend said, that wasn't his intention at all. He simply wanted to show quiet support, attend the event respectfully, and maybe share a space with William, not to reconnect, but just to be there, calmly and without fuss. Instead, he was left on the outside, watching it all unfold from afar. And in Harry's eyes, William had just sent a clear message to the world: he no longer fits in. Whether that was truly the intention is still unclear, but to Harry, the feeling was unmistakable. No spotlight, no red carpet could soften that kind of message. But this wasn't just about the brothers. Fans were watching closely, waiting to see if Meghan, Harry's wife, would say something. She didn't speak out, but she did something else. Something subtle, but impossible to ignore. Curious to find out what she did? Don't go anywhere. Meghan's silent response. When Prince Harry was locked out of the 2025 BAFTAs, it wasn't just a snub. It was a line drawn in the sand, one the palace never saw coming. For the royal establishment, it might have seemed like a routine exclusion. But for Harry and Meghan, it was yet another confirmation that their path would no longer be shaped by tradition or royal approval. Because while the royals bet on silence, Harry and Meghan had already been quietly writing their own playbook for years. They didn't run from the throne. They pivoted from palace protocol to purpose-driven branding, crafting influence on their own terms. The old royal way was all about ribbons, handshakes, and balcony waves, clear signs of duty and loyalty to the crown. But the BAFTA incident has made Harry and Meghan choose a different path. Instead of playing for the palace cameras, they are now earning respect by being real and making a difference. Meghan doesn't rely on palace press officers or official statements anymore. She has big platforms like Spotify, Vogue, and Oprah, where she can share her story directly and reach millions of people. Prince Harry stopped doing royal speaking tours and wrote books that became bestsellers, giving honest stories about his life behind the headlines. They don't need crowns to carry them now. What matters is reaching people directly. So, the 2025 BAFTA rejection is a big moment for Meghan. She is not just taking part in the usual media anymore. She's making their own. The Sussexes are starting their own platform without the palace controlling the message or the media getting in the way. This is a strong move to show they're independent. If the crown won't give them a chance to speak, they'll create their own stage. It's about taking back control of their story, instead of just being told what it is. What stands out most is Meghan's careful silence. She doesn't respond to royal attacks, no interviews, no social media posts, no replies. This silence isn't about fear or backing down. It's planned. She's choosing not to play by the crown's rules. And now, she's teaching Harry to do the same. Every time Prince William makes a move, Harry stays quiet, and the world guesses what it means. This quiet way actually creates more talk, more questions, and more influence, without Harry having to say anything at all. The Sussexes' strategy is more than a media war. It's a legacy play. While the monarchy clings to centuries-old tradition, Harry and Meghan are quietly rewriting the rules of influence. Their strategy blends authenticity, purpose, and narrative control. One project, one platform, one silent checkmate at a time. This is a generation of royals who understand that influence in the 21st century isn't about titles or ceremonies. It's about storytelling, direct connection, and the power to shape perception. Harry and Meghan aren't just rewriting the royal narrative. They're showing the world what happens when you refuse to be defined by history, and instead define yourself through impact. And while the palace watches and waits, the Sussexes keep moving forward.
Royal watchers around the world are still digesting the big announcement by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Prince Harry and his wife Meghan announced on social media they are stepping back from their role as senior members of the royal family.
They have turned rejection into opportunity, silence into strategy, and distance into a new kind of closeness with their audience. It's a quiet revolution unfolding, one that might just change what it means to be royal forever. But the story is far from over. The royal collapse. Can the monarchy survive the modern world? With everything that's happened between Harry and William, people are starting to ask a bigger question. Can the royal family really survive in today's world? The monarchy is one of the oldest institutions on Earth, built on bloodlines, tradition, and centuries of stories. But in 2025, the cracks are starting to show, and they're no longer just symbolic. They're real, they're deep, and they are getting harder to ignore. You see, for a long time, the crown stood for stability. Under Queen Elizabeth II, it meant something: duty, dignity, and a sense of calm. She didn't just wear the crown, she gave it weight. But since she passed, something has changed. The magic feels like it's fading. The royal family, once seen as above it all, is now facing serious questions. Can it still matter in a world where people expect honesty, speed, and accountability? King Charles was meant to steady the ship, to guide the institution into its next chapter. Instead, he feels like a placeholder, a monarch caught between centuries. While the world leans into technology, social justice, and climate urgency, the palace still waves from balconies, still clings to protocol, still answers modern challenges with vintage gestures. And younger generations are not impressed. Gen Z didn't grow up on fairy tales. They grew up on hard truths, live streams, internet receipts, and emotional literacy. They don't care for gilded carriages or staged portraits. They care about impact, justice, and authenticity. And for many of them, the crown feels less like heritage and more like an echo of a time that's run out. What makes this moment even harder for the monarchy is the painful irony at its core. The one royal who truly seemed to understand the modern world, the one who saw the change coming and knew how to speak its language, was the one they pushed away. Prince Harry didn't want to tear the system down. He wanted to update it, to make it more open and real, building a place for reconciliation. But to those in charge, that felt like rebellion. He was too honest, too emotional, too raw, too American. So they let him go. What they didn't see was that Harry wasn't trying to break tradition. He was trying to break through it. Now the royal family is left facing a tough truth. A crown means little if no one is paying attention. Duty starts to feel empty when it's out of step with the times. Legacy doesn't survive on history alone, especially when the public is asking for honesty over ceremony. In 2025, tradition isn't enough. If the monarchy wants to stay alive, it has to step into the present, not just for a photo op, but for real. And now, one question everyone keeps asking is this: can Harry and William ever make peace? Their reunion could bring hope, not just to their family, but to the entire royal house. People still remember how close they once were. Two young boys playing in palace gardens, whispering secrets, sharing laughs, the kind of bond built in childhood, unshaken by titles or duty. In those moments, they weren't royals. They were just sons. But somewhere along the way, that bond broke. We have all seen the public drama, Harry's interviews, the Netflix series, the memoir. But those close to them say the real damage happened in private. One conversation, words that couldn't be taken back, a silence that lasted too long. Whatever it was, it created a deep divide. William stayed quiet and steady, loyal to the crown. Harry spoke out, trying to be heard. He says he wants peace. But real healing takes more than words. It takes honesty. And that's something the royal family often avoids. Their mother, Diana, raised them to be kind and open. She wanted them to lead with heart. Somewhere, that got lost. The crown shaped William. It pushed Harry away. Reconciliation is still possible, but it has to happen quietly, away from cameras. Just two brothers, face to face, as a family, as sons. So what's your take on Prince William's decision to block his brother from attending the BAFTA event? Was Harry's reaction justified? And do you believe there's still a chance the brothers will reconcile? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the following video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.